What's going on, people? You're on episode 10 of this mini off-road gas to electric go-kart conversion video, but got something to say. Happy New Year! It's 2020. Let's start this new year off a little different. Let's start it off right, alright? Can I get a number 8 with one crunchy, one soft taco?
Okay. The drink?
Pepsi. Can I get no tomatoes on that? And let me also get a Nacho Bel Grande. So eating healthy has never been a goal of mine. I love Taco Bell. But isn't it crazy? It's almost been a year since I first started posting videos on YouTube. And I know some of you have been sticking around since the beginning. I know who you guys are. I see your comments. I read them all and I love them. You guys have been so good. So I just wanted to take some time and say thank you. Thank you for subscribing to me. Thank you for following me. Let's continue this journey for a whole nother year straight. So with that being said, let's continue this episode 10 of this mini off-road gas to electric go-kart conversion video that we've been working on for the last couple months. What that Mexican pizza. Let's flash back to episode 9. And in episode 10, we're gonna be mounting these things. If you don't know what these are, these two are amp readers and this one's a voltmeter. I'm going to make a little dashboard for the go-kart where I'm going to hook up all the switches and we're going to mount these things to it. Last video, I want to paint it in that episode too, so can't wait to see you guys on that one. Oh, we're back. Here it is, the finished gauge. Now, you guys are probably like, wait, I want to watch you build it. Don't worry, I got it. I'll show you it right after I find my hard taco. Alright, so how did I build this gauge cluster? Life started off as a little see-through container that I bought at the container store. And what I did was I measured out how big the square little gauges are, and I went with the Dremel and I cut out little homes for the gauges to sit inside of. This is pretty hard, but I was able to get it done. Then for my two switches on the outside, I just went with the drill bit and I drilled them. Not too sure where the footage went with me making this thing, but I put that switch in the middle too. But also, in that footage you just watched, it still had the see-through box in the back. And me being me and making things overcomplicated, I wasn't happy with the thickness of the see-through box. So I did away with it and I made this thing, which the gauge cluster is gonna sit inside of. And I'll tell you what, welding this was a process, but I'll show you how I did all that too. The grinder, it's my best friend. I love using the grinder, but basically what I did was I cut these little thin things and that square piece. So the square piece is the base, and the two thinner pieces, like the one I'm cutting right now, are gonna be the sides, but the problem was they weren't long enough. So I welded them together. Now I got one long thing. I welded the sides to the base and just started bending it with pliers and slowly worked my way all the way around till it looked like a tuna can. Worked out great. Alright, so here it is. We got acceleration amps, driving amps, and the voltage. This is going to be our forward and reverse. This is going to be the on and off for the water pump. And this is the main power for the go-kart, on and off. This one, when you accelerate, it's going to read something in like the 100, 200 amp area. This one should be, while it's moving, in the 30s to 40s, maybe 50s. Not too sure. We're going to have to see that when it's on the go-kart. And that's going to be the voltage. So it's going to be like 80 volts when it's fully charged and somewhere in the 70s when it's dead. But now that we have it all finished and completed, let's find a home to mount it onto the go-kart. Right about there. Right now it's mocked up with a magnet. Here's a little better view of it. So you're sitting on the go-kart, look right between the wheel, and bam, there's your gauges and your power switch. So I already pre-cut these things. So let's just weld this to the back of here. and make it all permanent, you know? There it is. The gauge cluster is permanently mounted. Now, the Gokart is running on 80 volts, right? That water pump runs on 12 volts. Maybe I want to run two little LEDs up in the front that are also going to run on 12 volts. Now, I do not have a 80 volt to 12 volt reducer for the battery, you know, like a little regulator box thing. They sell them, I know they exist, but I don't have one right now. So what I'm going to do is take this drill battery, 12 volt, and I'm just going to make a little holder for it right here. And it's just going to slide in and out, and I'm going to steal my 12 volts from this thing to run that water pump and possibly two little LED things that are going to go in the front. So let's just try making something for this now. With my awesome ability to just fast forward in time, here's the bracket I made. Now it's this weird shape because it actually holds the battery and it locks it into place. So check that out. This is where we're going to get our 12 volts from to go to the switch to run our water pump and possibly LEDs. But it's like perfect. Squeeze in the sides, remove the battery, put it on charge it when you want to play with the Gokart, put it in the Gokart, lock it into place, and you're good to go. So now that we got that done, I think it's time to strip the whole Gokart apart and paint it. This is going to be a little long process, so let's get the camera in a good angle, clean up that table in the back, and start taking it apart. On the home stretch, people. This thing looks amazing. It looks mint. All we have left to do now is wire this gauge, and the Gokart, it is finished. It is done. It is amazing. Let me show you how to wire this up. Alright, so the gauge cluster, we're going to need these two sensors and these extender wires. So other than the switches, which are pretty obvious how you hook them up, they're just power and they cut off the power. These two amp reading ones are the cool ones because they use these Hall effect sensor wires. And all this does is it's going to go through the positive cable and just sit there. I'm going to use zip ties to hold them, but supposedly that's all it does. It's got a little arrow for direction, and it's able to read the amps flowing through this cable. And I'm going to use these as an extender to go from here all the way to the gauge cluster up on top. So that's pretty much the only really complicated thing. They get their power through these positive and negatives, which I am able to run off the 72 volts of the battery itself of the Gokart. I don't have to use my little external 12 volt battery. And this one, of course, is reading the voltage of my battery pack, so that one's going right to the battery too. And it's that straightforward, so let's just wire it all up and see what it looks like on the Gokart. Boy, oh boy, do I got a good plot twist for you guys. And we're bringing this video to an end because I just welded the negative terminal to the positive terminal with one rookie move. That's all it takes, guys. You mess up once, everything is over. I didn't disconnect my main disconnect for the battery, and I took the negative terminal off, and lo and behold, it naturally found its way to its positive and welded itself together, shorting out 4 of my 6 batteries, and I might have ruined the speed control. But I'm not letting that stop me, because I am going to fix this all. But that's going to have to be in the next episode. So if you want to know how to fix the fuses internally in a lithium battery and try to fix the speed control, stay tuned, guys, because this really sucks. I'll see you in the next one, alright? Bye.